See? They'll gobble in the fall too. He's not far. He still ain't come down out of the tree. I still ain't seen him fly down. I should be able to see him out there, or at least hear him. Again, this ain't April. This is October. Turkey season opened up this morning, so I'm out here doing a little fall turkey hunting. It feels good to be back in my vest and shotgun and get back out here. You know, it's been since spring, and you know, usually by now, of course, we're up a tree, we're deer hunting, but it does pay if you want to be a great spring hunter and you want to be a better spring hunter. You know, come March, April, May, it does pay if you will get out a few days of the year and chase fall turkeys. And that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. How to increase your odds come spring by fall turkey. I spend the majority of my time in the fall looking down on the ground. When it comes to turkey hunting, I spend the majority of my time, and deer hunting, but especially turkey hunting, if I'm out fall hunting, I spend the majority of my time looking on the ground and not looking around. You're going to learn more on the ground than you will by just looking around. Now, I just found this feather right back here, and so that's telling me that in the last few days, turkeys have been in here. So this is a good spot for me to kind of remember and set up and start looking for more sign. But you're not going to get that by just running through the woods and running and gunning, quote, like people do in the spring. You know, spring hunters, if that's all you've ever done, you can really pick up a bad habit by listening with just your ears. You know, you're ear hunting him. You know, you're listening for that gobble. You're going after that gobbler just by hearing him. You go out there, you know, you'll call a little bit, and boy, you'll hear him. Then you'll just take off like a sprint runner. And you know, sometimes that can really be a bad habit. And fall turkey hunting is not like that. Okay, you're not doing that fall turkey hunting. Fall turkey hunting is slower. You've got to follow the sign, you got to read the sign, and you've got to learn how to hunt turkeys a different way. But come the spring of the year, come next spring of 2024, that's going to help you, because how many times have you been out, you know, spring hunting, and the turkeys just ain't gobbling, or it's just a quiet morning, or it's just one of them cold weeks, or it's just one of them, you know, it's one of them warm spells where they're just not gobbling. You can't hardly get a peep out of a gobbler, and that discourages a lot of spring hunters. It discourages them. They want to quit. Well, they make all these excuses. Turkeys ain't doing right, this and that. But the fact of it is if you're a good fall hunter, see, you don't even worry about that. You don't worry about if they're gobbling or not. Now, sure, we like to hear them gobble in the spring, and that's why we're out there. But you don't really worry about it if you're a good fall hunter, because in the fall, you've already learned how to hunt turkeys when they're not gobbling. You've already learned how to hunt turkeys when they're quiet. You've learned how to hunt turkeys by their sign. You've learned how to hunt turkeys by following what's on the ground instead of hunting with your ears. So fall turkey hunting can be a big step in the right direction on making you better you come next spring. Now, fall turkey hunting can be exciting. Don't let it fool you. Now, you just heard them turkeys gobbling in the tree. Okay, so that tells you, that wasn't in April, that was October. That tells you that turkeys gobble in the fall too. Now, they're not coming to hen calls, and they're not coming rip-roaring, strutting in, coming to mate, of course, but it's a different kind of gobbling. It's a different kind of a season. It's a different stage of their life. But what you do is you learn how to hunt turkeys in that stage of their life, because if they're henned up in the spring, or if they're just not gobbling, or whatever the case, again, you can hunt turkeys the way that it was meant to hunt them in the first place. Do you realize that fall turkey hunting was the original season? Do you realize that before there was ever a spring season, there was a fall season? That's why our grandpas and our dads and all them old timers, that's why they had the knowledge of spring turkey hunting when it first began to open and begin to get legal. They already had all that knowledge of how to kill turkeys long before anybody taught them how to work a strut and gobbler, or how to get in their strut zone, or anything else, because they just found turkeys the way the Indians found them. They just found them by their sign. They found them by fall turkey hunting. Well, you can do the same thing. You can do the same thing in 2023 and 2024 just by learning how to fall hunt. Locating fall turkeys is the main thing of the game. And it is in the spring too, but not so much in the spring, because you can hear them, and you kind of, you hear them gobbling. Sometimes you can just go after them. But locating turkeys in the fall is a must. If you're going to be a good fall turkey hunter, you got to locate them. You got to be where they're at. And you do this, of course, as I've already mentioned, by looking for the sign, but you can also do it by standing up, if you're hunting in open territory, standing up in these, edges of these big fields, and using your good binoculars, and kind of just glass on these flats, and even in the hardwoods, but glass from afar in these open, like a lot in these open places. And by learning to glass from afar and not get in there and bust them up and fly, and mess them up, you can learn kind of how they're moving and kind of how they're coming into their to their places of feed, and you can be in there and set up and wait on them and ambush them, because many times in the fall, turkeys they come right back, day after day after day after day. If nothing messes them up too much, they'll come right back pretty much day after day, and it's pretty easy to get onto them. But by locating them from afar, you can be way ahead of the game. Now, I know that a lot of people in the fall, they hunt up busted flocks of turkeys. They go in there, sometimes they purposely bust them up. I don't really like doing that, even though that can be productive. Busting them up, calling them back in, it can be, but sometimes it's not as easy as it sounds. Because they see danger, whatever the case, they don't just come running back in many times, unless they're young turkeys or something like that. But them old gobblers, them old mature gobblers, many times they're really tough. They're really tough, and I don't like for them to know that I'm hunting them, or I go in here purposely and spook them. So I want to locate them, and then kind of go in and try to do an ambush. So I know that many times we maybe hear it on videos, or we may hear it in other places. People say, "Oh, fall turkey hunting ain't nothing. Just go in there and bust them up, and then go in there and key and call them back in." Well, listen, that don't always happen. It's a lot, they make it sound easier than it is. It don't always happen. So I don't think that's the best way to hunt turkeys, in my opinion, in the fall. The best strategy is to locate them either on the, by their sign on the ground, or locate them from afar. And then once you locate a particular flock of turkeys, because you're hunting with flocked up turkeys, in the fall it's all about flocked up turkeys. We know that. It's very, 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 very odd that you find one lone gobbler or one lone hen by themselves. It just usually don't happen. It's flocked up. The gobblers are with the gobblers. The hens are with the hens. So in the fall, you're hunting hen to hen, gobbler to gobbler. Whereas in the spring, you're hunting gobbler to hen. In the fall, you got to sound like a gobbler, to kill a gobbler. Gobbler yelping, jake yelping, doing the fall sounds that they do. And of course, the spring or in the fall, the hens, are still yelping and still doing all their things and keying and all that stuff. And many times you can get a whole flock of hens to come into you. So killing a hen in the fall is pretty easy. You know, I mean, I'm just going, it's pretty easy. But if you're out here like I am today, specifically hunting a fall longbeard, an adult gobbler, that is a whole different story. That is one of the toughest animals to kill in that time of their life period. The one thing about fall turkey hunting that will teach you a lot is their vocalization. This time of year, it's crazy just how much that they're vocal. I mean, gobblers and hens, they're just vocal. I mean, yeah, I mean, you get on a good fall morning and it's just insane at the amount of turkey calling that you'll hear from real turkeys. And when you get into that situation, that is the best time in the world to get your phone out, record some of it, or if you got a camera, record some of it, and learn these turkey vocalizations, because that's what they're doing all year long. They're doing that in the spring too. They're doing that. The only difference is you don't hear it as much because you're not listening for it. But in the fall, you know, you can get really, really close to flocked up turkeys. You can get them really close and just listen to them and learn so much and help you become a better caller. So it really helps you to learn how to be one of the flock. Be one of them turkeys. Be one of that flock that's on the property that you're hunting. And then when you go back in the spring, it's going to help you become that flock. And you know, be that turkey out there. And many times you can pull that hen in come spring, and she'll drive that gobbler right in with you. So you can learn so much of the vocalization of hen turkeys and gobblers just by getting out there and fall hunting when they're really vocal at this time of year. It's just unbelievable at some of the stuff I have heard in the fall of turkeys for 2-3 solid hours just going at it. Whereas in the spring you don't hear that as much. But I'm telling you, in the fall they can go as high as 2 and 3 hours just cutting the awfulest shine, I mean, that you ever heard. But all that calling is helping you become a more educated and a better hunter, and it will help you become death on them come spring. You know, but fall turkey hunting can be great. It can be something that if you get on the right morning, you know, in the right time, it can get in your blood. It really can. And there's just something special about getting out here in the October woods, you know, and when the leaves are changing and you see a big old longbeard coming through the woods, you know, because I'm going to tell you something. One of the hardest animals to kill on planet Earth is a fall longbeard. Now, they're hard in the spring, don't get me wrong. They're hard in the spring enough, but when you start, you know, specifically hunting fall longbeards, that is a challenge all by itself. But don't get me wrong, sometimes it'll sound like spring out there, like, you know, like they'll gobble, and man, when you hear them gobbler yelping back at you and you get out there and gobbler yelp, if you don't know much about calling in the fall, I'll leave the link in the end of this video. I've done a lot of, you know, videos on gobbler yelping and fall calling. I'll leave it in the description. You just can't cover all of it in one video. It'd take too long. But I've got other videos on here about, you know, gobbler yelping and all that, and how to call turkeys in the fall. But this is the time to get out here. You turkey hunters that maybe just starting, some of you young guys that's never fall turkey, this right here is where you're going to learn a whole lot about hunting them in the spring. And it is just a great challenge, and hey, it's a good way to get out here, especially when the deers ain't moving. You know, if you're a big bow hunter and the deers ain't moving and it's just kind of shut down, hey, it's time to get out there and still be in the woods and fall turkey hunt. So that's what we're doing today. I'm kind of looking around, deer scouting, turkey scouting, and I'm just kind of out here calling around, and hopefully we'll get on maybe a longbeard sometime today. But just looking, but hey, try that fall turkey hunting. You won't be disappointed, I promise you. And make sure to subscribe to this channel also. I'd really appreciate it. And check out all of our sponsors in the links below. Kona Scopes, Spring Fever Custom Calls, where you can get my signature line of turkey calls, and all the other great products and sponsors there in the links below. Check them out. Check out all the promo codes to get special discounts. We really appreciate you, and we'll be looking forward to bringing you maybe some fall turkey hunting and some deer videos in the near future. It's that time of year. Fall is here. So you stay tuned till the next video.